All right, so go ahead and introduce yourself for the 20th time.
My name is Jonathan Shrag.
Okay, and where are we right now?
We are in our community place in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And do you want me to look at you or the camera?
Yeah, look at me.
Look at you, okay.
Yep.
We're in our community place, which is a community center located in Harrisonburg, Virginia.
And what happens here? We were actually just led here by someone who visits this place often.
We used to have a free meal every Monday over at this restaurant across the street. And the idea behind that free meal, which is the idea behind this place, is that anyone in the world is welcome to be here, and no strings attached, not based on age or race or how much money you have. And so it's this community center where we serve free meals, and we have shower and laundry, and we do have a number of people who are homeless who come here because they need some of the things that we have here. But the idea is that we want to be a community that includes anyone who wants to be a part of our community, and in order to be a healthy community, we need people from all walks of life.
Why do you do it?
I really connected with from that free meal that used to happen at the restaurant. I heard about that happening, and I heard that it was a free meal for not just poor people. That it wasn't what we call not just like a community service. Yeah, not just for homeless people, but this free meal for anyone in the world. And I really connected with that idea that we all have issues in our lives, and it's maybe less about how much money you have or even whether you have a house or not, but connecting with people as humans, and the belief that my belief, and I think that maybe the organization's belief, that we have a lot more in common than we have differences. And so that idea really grabbed me. It seemed like something that I wanted to be a part of, and I started coming to that free meal. Eventually we started a full-fledged nonprofit organization called Our Community Place. That nonprofit did some fundraising and eventually bought this building so that instead of 1 day a week at the restaurant, we could do what we do 7 days a week, or as often as we want or can.
How do people end up having to come here? Like, how does that happen?
Well, because we have free meals and we're open during the daytimes, we have laundry and washer and dryer and things like that. Particularly a smaller town, I think, too, people who really do need services like that begin to hear, oh, this is a place that I can go. I mean, if you're homeless, at least in this area, there's really, I'm trying to think before I say, but yeah, I mean, besides like maybe the public library or a store or something, I mean, there's really nowhere to go during the day. If you're homeless, you may or may not have shelter at night. But during the day, this is a good example. There's snow on the ground. It's pretty cold outside. So a lot of people come because they really do need to have a place to be. And then I think the rest of our community comes because they somehow connect with that vision of a place where anyone in the world is welcome. I mean, we get volunteers from the local, there's a couple local colleges. We get volunteers who come for various reasons. We get, people from all walks of life, really. And, a lot of people come because they just hear that idea that, oh, anybody in the world is welcome, a place where it's not just for homeless people, but for all of us to be. And I think that idea grabs people. It's not, people that come here often say, I've been around in lots of different places and I've never seen any place quite like this. So I do think it's sort of unique, and it catches people's interest.
How do you think history will look like 100 years from now at places like this? Do you think that we'll always have people in this kind of need, or do you think that's going to be a problem solved? Do you think we're like still in an archaic time that we even have places like this, or what?
I think that it seems like two answers to the question. If we're really getting to our ultimate vision here, a place for anyone in the world to be part of a community, I'd say there's always going to be a need for that, for a community center, a place for people to gather and to maybe make meals together and share life together, in whatever form that might be. I think, yes, that will always be necessary. As far as people being homeless and not having a place to be during the day, I was just thinking this morning that is an archaic age we're in, and how sad it is that maybe in the wealthiest country in the world we can't find a way to give people a bed. Like, that was what I was thinking this morning, just a bed. So that someone can go and lay in a bed by themselves at night and not, the shelter, there's the various shelters, but, many cases like bunk bed, or, that doesn't seem very humane, really. And there's lots of reasons that people are homeless, not just because they don't want to go get a job. Lots and lots of people here come with lots and lots of trauma from childhood, and then that builds in jails and children out, child support. There's just so many different reasons that might lead a person to be homeless and then be here.
Yeah.
Seems like we could do better.
What about this? What about the town that we're in right now? Can you say just doesn't have to be associated with this place, with the community center, just in general? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like I have a unique connection to this town. What really originally brought me here was college. I went to James Madison University, is located here. I grew up in Richmond. But two times before coming to visit the school, I was in this town for different reasons as a younger person, and really always just felt some connection. I don't know, I can't explain it, but in looking back, they were like vivid memories to me. And then even in visiting here before I got accepted to college, I had this moment of like looking out towards the mountains and thinking to myself, this is where I'm going to spend my life. And I was 17 at the time. And in fact, I was looking out at the very mountains where my house actually is now. I was looking to the west, my house, in the direction of where I actually live. And so I don't know. I love the mountains, and I really enjoy the size town that Harrisonburg is. It feels manageable. Like you can kind of have a closer connection to everyone and have more of an impact or an influence just in how life goes, not like politically or any specific way, just connection with people. And so I feel really connected to this town and this area in some way that I really can't describe, but it feels pretty significant.
Well, what's your family history?
And when you said that question before, could you do you mean like where did or maybe it's just open-ended?
It's very open-ended, but some people take it back, to their ancestors, in your case, maybe Europe, or, some people take it in a completely different direction. So
Okay.
It's whatever you want to share.
Yeah.
You can answer it in all ways if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, yes, generally speaking, ancestors would go back to Europe, and I actually don't know a lot of that history, but so what I'll tell you is more recent. My parents both were born in Ohio, in Cleveland, Ohio, and spent most of their lives there. My dad ended up going to medical school in Richmond, Virginia, and that's what brought he and my mom here before we were born. And so myself and my brothers were born in Richmond. And grew up there. My dad did not complete medical school, but that's what brought him there. So family history. Parents, Cleveland, Ohio, 2 brothers, and yeah.
Great. What's in your backyard?
What is in my backyard? In my backyard is the woods. There's about 20 feet of woods, and then an amazingly beautiful stream, and then a mountain that goes up. That's in my backyard.
That's awesome. I want that backyard. What's your favorite place?
I would say my favorite place is probably the mountains of Virginia.
Is there a secret spot you go to that you don't want anyone to know about, but you'll say right now?
Well, I do often have a secret spot, but then it also changes. So I recently got this travel hammock that I just love. It's super light, and I'll just throw it in a backpack when I have some time to go by myself. And right now there's this spot that's about a 10-minute walk from my house back into the woods on that stream that is in my backyard. And I just put up my hammock between these 2 trees and just chill out. And I have 2 kids, and I didn't even mention kids in family history. I have 2 kids, so often I don't have time to get away. But when I do, have an hour or something, I'll go and just lay in the hammock and in the woods and just sort of looking out over the stream. And sometimes there's a different spot.
What's last question? What are your hopes?
Hopes. I would like to see a world where people are taken care of, where humans don't kill other humans, and people have beds to sleep in, and people have needs met. I picture always a continuum of maybe more wealthy people with more things, and maybe people less wealthy with less things, but I feel like there's such a I don't know the word I'm trying to think of, but there's such a difference between the wealthy and the non-wealthy globally, and it seems like there's so many people and children in need too, really, that it seems like we should be able to get there. And I don't really have all the answers, but as humans, I feel like we should be able to get to the point where we can take care of each other and take care of the earth and have people be healthy and happy and not. Yeah, war seems to really confuse me. Killing other humans. There's got to be something else.
All right. Hopefully, we'll confuse people 200 years from now too when they see this.
On what grounds that we're still doing it all?
All right. Well, thanks, Jonathan.
No problem.